Hey, it's CJ William. I'm cracking a pack. So, what do I have today? I have Core Set 2012. So, this is around the time that I started playing Magic. Magic 2012 Core Set came out in the summer of 2011. It had 249 cards in it, 101 commons, 60 uncommons, 53 rare, 15 mythic rares, and 20 basic lands. So with a lot of the core sets, it had quite a few reprints. It did have some newer cards that were printed into it, but it was, they always try to target it to newer Magic players. I didn't really buy a lot of Magic 2012. Most of the one packs that I did get out for Magic 2012 came out of like intro decks, or I just pick them up at the store. I think I may have opened maybe around 4 to 5 of these. So anyway, what are we looking for in this particular set? So out of the mythics, there are 6 mythics that are over $5 in value. There are quite a few rares that have value from about $2 to $5. One of my favorite rares that came out of Magic 2012 core set was Grand Abolisher. So I only have one copy of it. It's kind of an expensive card. It can get up around $10. I play it in a mono white sort of weenie human deck. I really like it. So what am I, out of this pack, what do I hope to get? I wouldn't mind one of the Planeswalkers. I wouldn't mind pulling either Grave Titan or Primeval Titan. I think those would be fun cards to play. As I've said in previous videos, I'm a casual kitchen table top Magic player. I have a play group of around 3 friends. There's 4 of us. We don't spend a ton of money on Magic. We may pull our money together, get a booster box and do a draft. Sometimes we'll do a pre-release or a sealed at one of the local game stores. But we don't drop a lot of money on cards. And so typically if I'm going to get a good card out of these packs, I'm going to put it into one of my decks. So if I get another Grand Abolisher, well then I'll have 2 in my, my mono white kind of human weenie deck. All right, so here we go. Let's crack it. Let's see what we get. Boy, I really tore into that. All right. So as I said, we'll probably see quite a few reprints. Lifelink. So for 1 white mana, you get an enchantment or enchanted creature has lifelink. This, harkens back to a lot of the cheap enchantments that will give you an ability that's, specialized by the particular color of mana. So white does lifelink. I don't know that I've ever played a card like an enchantment similar to this. Usually I want to have lifelink and a bonus on my aura. Next card is Bonebreaker Giant, 5 mana, 4 and a red. You get a vanilla 4/4 giant. Well, not much to be said about that. Usually want an ability with a card. Sauron's Thirst, 2 black mana, you get an instant. Sauron's Thirst deals 2 damage to target creature and you gain 2 life. So this has recently been reprinted in War of the Spark. I drafted in War of the Spark. I liked it. 2 damage to a creature and then you gain 2 life. It's a kind of nifty little, I'll get rid of one of your creatures, smaller creatures, I'll gain some life out of it. Next card is Assault Griffin for 4 mana, 3 and a white. You get a 3/2 flying Griffin. 4 mana, 3/2 flyer. I've drafted similar cards like this I'm trying to think, in most of the recent sets, if you can get a 3/2 flyer, it's playable. If you can get a 3/2 flyer for 4 with a little bonus ability, it's way playable. Phantasmal Bear. So for 1 blue mana, you get a 2/2 Bear Illusion. When Phantasmal Bear becomes the target of a spell or ability, sacrifice it. I like Phantasmal Bear. In blue, a 1-drop 2/2 that only has the drawback of when it gets targeted by a spell or ability, sacrifice it. I like these sorts of cards because if you can't deal with it, you're forced to use your removal spell on it, and as soon as you target it, it goes away. So I like cards like this. Okay, next card, Tormented Soul, 1 black. You get a spirit that's a 1/1. Tormented Soul can't block and is unblockable. There was an early sacrifice deck that I played a Tormented Soul in, and I didn't mind it. What was really cool is in a draft format, if you can get a really good equipment that's cheap, or a decent enchantment, say like the Lifelink one, or let's say like Mark of the Vampire, that's it gives the creature +2/+2 and lifelink, then Tormented Soul does a lot of work. On its own, not so great. Next card, Mighty Leap, 2 mana, 1 and a white, instant. You get you can give target creature +2/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. So a memory I have about this card that really ticked me off. I was playing Friday Night Magic, or no. It was a sealed event, and I think it was Magic Origins. So I was playing someone, and I would go and I would block their creature. And then they would cast this and say, oh, my creature has flying, you can't block it. And so I tried to explain to him, no, the rule is that once the creature is blocked, no matter what you do to it, if you give it flying or some sort of evasion, that creature remains blocked. So he wouldn't agree with me. We got the judge over, who happened to be, I don't know, one of the store employees who didn't really know Magic that well. And they were like, no, it can't be blocked, it's got flying. I eventually lost that match. The next match, he did the exact same thing. This time the store owner was around, who knew Magic quite a bit better, called him over and ruled against him. But, you know, since he wasn't there for the first game, I basically lost the first game because the guy didn't know Magic and the flunky store employee had no clue of what was going on. Okay, next card, Active Treason. 3 mana, 2 and a red, sorcerer, gain control of target creature until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. I like threatened effects. Active Treason I've used in plenty of drafts. I even had a blue-red take your opponent's creatures and beat them with them, and I played Active Treason in. It's a fun card. It's nothing that I'm actively building anything or including in any decks, but I really like playing it in like a draft or sealed environment. Lava Axe, 5 mana, 4 and a red. It's a sorcery. Lava Axe deals 5 damage to target player. This is a fun card. Every once in a while I'll play it like in draft if it's part of the set. It's pretty funny to beat someone out of nowhere with a Lava Axe. All fun and games aside, it's not a card that, you know, you really include in many of your casual sets, or casual decks, if you will. Merfolk Mesmerist, 2 mana, 1 and a blue. You get a Merfolk Wizard. It's a 1/2. You can pay an island, tap it. Target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard. I really like the mill effect. I mean, obviously, I like playing blue. I have a really awesome blue control mill deck that I play. This isn't a creature that I play in it, mainly because my mill deck doesn't have a single creature in it. So, although this would be fun, I think paying 1 blue and having to tap this creature just to get the top 2 cards isn't really what I'm looking for in a casual milling sort of deck. Okay, our first uncommon is Elite Vanguard for 1 mana, 1 plains. You get a 2/1 human soldier with no abilities. I liked Elite Vanguard. I used to play a lot of Elite Vanguard in a mono white, like I said, weenie deck featuring humans. It's sort of gotten outclassed. Now, you know, if I want to play a 1-drop white, I have a couple of Kythians that turn into the Gideon Planeswalker for Magic Origins that I pulled out of packs. But back in the time of Core Set 2012, a 1-drop 2/1 was a pretty good thing. Next uncommon is Consume Spirit. So you pay X mana plus 1 generic and 1 swamp. It's a sorcery. Spend only black mana on X. So it kind of limits you to a mono black deck or a heavy black. Consume Spirit deals X damage to target creature or player, and you gain X life. This is a pretty cool card. I haven't played with it too much. I have one of my friends that's in our play group. He plays Consume Spirit in a really nasty mono black deck, and I've lost to it quite frequently. He'll have quite a bit of mana out, uses some dark rituals and some other kind of generate extra mana, and just out of nowhere it takes you out. Okay, the next uncommon, Elixir of Immortality. For 1 generic, you can play this artifact, and then for 2 generic, you can tap it, and you gain 5 life, and then you shuffle Elixir of Immortality and your graveyard into their owner's library. So, Elixir of Immortality, I haven't really played much with it. I think, if I remember right, in looking at the price guides, it seemed to me that Elixir of Immortality was an uncommon that was gaining a little bit of value. I think for a while it sat around like the 25 cents. It's jumped up to close to $1, sometimes over $1. I don't, like I said, I haven't played with it much, so I don't know too much about it. Okay, so here's our rare or mythic rare. Let's hope for something good. Thus far, in some of my most recent openings, I haven't had the best of luck with the rares or mythic rares. So what are we going to get? We're going to get a rare World Slayer, 5 generic, artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy all permanents other than World Slayer. Equip cost 5. That seems like a pretty interesting card to play. I don't think I've ever played it. I don't think I've ever played against it. So I don't know that I really have an opinion on it. I would really hope I am either ahead or way behind. There's got to be some sort of other shenanigans with this card, that once you deal the combat damage to the player, everything goes except for World Slayer. My hope would be maybe it'd be in some sort of a deck where I'm drawing extra cards, so I've got, you know, my hand's completely full, so once everything goes away, I can play a land, a creature, and go. So I don't know. It doesn't seem to be that great of a card. It's only 75 cents, so it's probably something I would pass on. And then we've got a Pentavite token and a Forest. So out of this pack, what I think is the best card, I've been going blue way too much. I'm going to go with Consume Spirit. I haven't played with it too much, but like I said, in the right deck, it's been played against me, and it is really hard to beat. Like, you know, as I indicated earlier, the deck that I'm more familiar playing against, what my buddy does is he gets a lot of black mana out. He utilizes, like I said, dark rituals and other sort of cards within black that can increase the amount of black mana he's going to spend on it, and then he just beats me out of nowhere. You know, he'll routinely cast this for like anywhere between 5 to 7 as the cost of X, and just drains me out. So now that we've cracked the pack, in the comment section below, share with me in your opinion which card was the best one out of the pack and why. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, please subscribe and share. Until next time when I crack another pack, later, best dude.